Good morning, Ravi.
Om Shiva Samarambham
Shankaracharya
Shankaracharya
Madhyamam
Asmadacharya
Pariyantam Vande Guru Paramparam.
Om Sahana
Om
Bhavatu
Sahana Bhavatu Sahano
Sahaviriyam
Avidyam
Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma
Namaste.
Vidvijavahai Om
Shanti
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Shanti.
That's it.
So we are on the fourth verse, which we will chant. Tad abhyadravat
Tat abhyadravat
tad abhyavadat
tad abhyavat
Abhyavadat
kositi
Kositi
agnirva ahamasmitya bravit
Agnirva Aham Asmitya Bravit
Bravit
jata veda va ahamasmiti
Jataveda va Aham
Vedava
Asmiti.
Asmiti.
Okay, so tad abhyavadat. Tat is that yaksha, that divine being. Abhyavadat, he asked, he said, tam iti, to him. So tad tam abhyavadat. That yaksha said to him, iti, in this manner, kaha asi, kosi, kaha asi, who are you? Who is he talking to? The yaksha is talking to Agni, who was sent by the gods to find out who the yaksha was. Now, when this yaksha said, kaha isi, Agni was insulted because, the Agni is well known throughout the world. And so, iti abravita, Agni answered in this manner. What was that? Aham asmi vai agnihi. So, why is emphasis? I am indeed the well-known Agni. And I am well known as what? Jata Veda iti, the omniscient God. Okay, so that is the reply which Agni gave. And then we will look at the fifth mantra. Tasmin satvai kim viryamati. Tasmin satvai kim viryamiti.
Tasmin
Tasmin
Sattva Kim
Viryamiti
Viryamiti.
Apidam sarvam daheyam.
Apidam Sarvam
Idam
Daheyam
sarvam daheyam.
Yadidam prithivyamiti.
Yadidam
Idam
Prithvyamiti.
So iti, the yaksha asked in this manner to Agni, kim viryam? What is that power which you have? Tasmin tvai kim viryam? In you who say you are such a famous person, such a famous well-known Agni, what is that power that you have? And iti, in this manner, Agni answered. What did he say? Sarvam daheyam, sarvam idam api daheyam. I can burn everything. Idam is here on this earth. Whatever is there, I can burn. Yat prithivyam, which is upon this earth. And therefore, yadidam prithivyam iti, whatever there is on this birth, on this world, I can burn. Iti agnihi yaksham abravit. In this manner, Agni replied to the yaksha's question. Why is Agni famous? We all know that Agni is necessary in life. You have Jatara Agni in your stomach for digestion. You have Agni in the mother's womb. Without that, the baby will not live. Incubator heat is necessary. And death, when death happens also, Agni Tattvam is necessary to burn the body. So it's in view of all this that Agni said that I am such a famous person and therefore I can burn anything in this world. Whatever you say, I can burn for you. That is my power. So what did the Yaksha do? So we will look at mantra number 6. You will find that all these mantras are very, very short mantras. No explanation is necessary. So we are going to go very, very quickly. Remember, the teaching has already been given, right? Chapter 1 and chapter 2 give the teaching in great detail. This teaching is now meant for the Mandha Adhikari, those people who are not got Jnana Yogyata. And therefore, since I presume that all of you all are got the Jnana Yogyata, got the Chitta Shuddhi, so they not too much explanation is necessary, nor does the Shruti give all the explanation. So look at the sixth mantra. We will chant. Tasmai Tranam Nidadhaveti.
Tasmai Tranam
Nidadhaveti
Nidadhaveti.
Tasmai Tranam Nidadhavet Taddaheti.
Tasmai
Nidadhaveti.
Tad upapreyaya sarvajavena.
Tadupapeyaya sarvajavena.
Tanna shashakadagdhum.
Tanna Shashakadagdhum
Satata eva nivavrate.
Eva Nivavrate
Naita dashakam vignatum.
Naita Dashakam
Vijnatum
Vignatum
Yadetad yakshamiti.
Yadeta
Yakshayamiti.
Lakshami.
Just hold on. Sorry. So we'll repeat the last line. Naitad dashakam vignatum.
Naita
Dashakam
Dashakam Vignatum
Vignatum.
Etad yakshamiti.
Yeta
Yadeti.
Dakshamiti
So nidadhav. We have to supply the nidadhav means placed or kept. We have to supply the subject. The yaksha nidadhav, he placed trinam. Trinam is what? A blade of grass. So he placed a blade of grass. And what did he say? Tasmai. Before that Agni, the yaksha placed one blade of grass and iti, and spoke in this manner. Etat daha. Burn this. So yaksha was very short in his action as well as in his speech. He didn't say much. He just picked up a blade of grass from the ground, put it in front of Agni, and said, Etad daha. Please burn this. Since you said you can burn the whole world, I don't want you to burn the whole world. Just burn this blade of grass. Tad upapreyaya. Tad is that Agni. Upapreyaya. He came towards that blade of grass. He approached that blade of grass. Sarva javena, in full speed. And then what did he do? That Upanishad does not say. But you have to imagine that he tried to use all his powers, all the fiery powers that he had, he tried to use to burn the blade of grass, but the blade of grass just could not burn. And therefore, tat nasakshum dagdum. But that Agni could not burn that blade, and therefore, saha nivavrate tateva. He withdrew from there. He withdrew from in front of the yaksha and went back to the devas, and iti. In this manner, he spoke to the devas. Na ashakam. I could not burn the blade of grass, and therefore, na ashakam vignatum. I did not know yad etad yakshum. Who is this yaksha? I did not know. So that is the story. Agni found that even with his full powers, sarvajavena, the blade of grass would not burn, and therefore he went back and said, something is wrong. I could not burn even one blade of grass, and therefore where is the question of my finding out who the yaksha was? I just came away. What had Agni not understood? Agni had not understood that the power of burning was not his. It was the vibhuti of the Lord. The power was that of Ishvara's, not his own. That was something which Agni had not learnt, and therefore he had to learn that. And right now he doesn't. It will come in a later mantra. So right now we look at mantra number 7. When Agni said that he was not successful in finding out who the Yaksha was, then the Devas sent out another messenger, and this was Vayu. So Athavayum Abruvan Vayavet Vijani Vayavet Tadvijani
Ayavetadvijanihi.
Kim Etad Yaksamiti Tatheti.
Kim
Tatheti.
So Atha means afterwards. After what? After Agni Devata came back and said that I was not successful, Abruvan, the Devas said, Vayum iti. The Devas said to Vayum in this manner, He Vayoho, He Vayu, Vijanihi etad kim yaksham iti. Go and find out. Vijanihi, find out. Etat yaksham kim. Who is this yaksha? And Vayu said, Tatheti. So the last word is that of Vayu, Tatheti. Let it be so. Tatha iti. Let it be so. I will do that. So Vayu goes off to the Yaksha. And here Shankara explains the word Vayuhu. So he says, very nice explanation. He says, Vanat Gamanat Gandhana. So Vanat means Gamanat. The one who goes around, Gandhana, carrying a smell. So that which goes around the universe carrying smells. And you know that Vayu carries a smell, whether it is good smell, Sugandha, or bad smell. If it is there in one place, it is the Vayu which distributes it. And therefore, Vanat, Gamanat, Gandhava, Va. That is why Vayu. Because it goes around and carries the smell, it's called Vayu. And Vayuhu also, another name is there, which you will find in this particular mantra itself, in this particular Upanishad itself. It's called Matarishva. It's another name for Vayuhu. So Matari means Antariksha, the space. And the Shwa part is from Shwayati, which means which moves. So that Shwayati, Antarikshe, that which moves in the sky is called Matarishva. So this name you need to remember, Matarishva means Vayu only. Okay, so this is the 7th mantra. As I said, not too much of explanation is there. Now we will look at the 8th mantra. Tad abhyadravat tam abhyavadat ositi iti vayurva
Ositi
Ayurva.
aham asmitya bravit
Aham asti
Brahvit.
Matarishva va aham asmiti.
Matarishvahamasti.
So abhyadravat, you have to supply Vayu. Vayu abhyadravat, Vayu approached that yaksha, that yaksha, and without waiting any further, that yaksha abhyavadat, he asked. To whom? Tam. Tam is Vayu over here. So that yaksha asked Vayu in this manner, Kaha isi, who are you? And iti, that is to say, in this manner, Vayu abravid, Vayu answered. He said, Aham asmi Vayu Vai. Vayuhu Vai. I am the well-known Vayu, also known as Matarishva. So I am that very well-known Vayu, also known as Matarishva. So then what is Matarishva? The one who moves freely in the sky. That is Matarishva. And the same meaning can also be given to Vayu, Sarvatra Vati iti Vayuhu. That one which goes everywhere, that is Vayuhu. So what did Yaksha do? Yaksha asked, who are you? And Vayu replies. Vayu replies in the 9th mantra. Tasmin tvai kim viryamiti
Tasmai kim
Viriyamiti.
viryamiti
apidam sarvamadadiya yadidam prativyamiti.
apidam
Apidam sarvamadidya yadidam pratiyamiti.
Yaksha says, Tasmin tvai, in a person as famous as you say you are, iti kim viryam. What is the power in this manner? The Yaksha asked, what is your power, hey Vayu? And iti Vayu replied, Adadiya sarvam api idam. Adadiyam means to lift. So yatha prithivyam, whatever is there upon this prithvi, upon this earth, sarvam api idam adadiya. I can lift everything that is there on the earth. The destructive power of Vayu is being talked about, the cyclonic power. As you know, a very strong cyclone can uproot almost anything. Trees, forests themselves are destroyed, and therefore he's talking about the destructive power of Vayu. We have to note here that Vayu also has a constructive power, and that is what? Prana Shakti. So this was the explanation given by Vayu, that I can lift up anything on this Prithvi, on this earth. Then what did Yaksha do? We will read mantra number 10. Tasmai Tranam
tasmai
Nidadhavet
nidadhavet
Adadat Sveti
adadasveti
Tad Upapreyaya
tadupapreyaya
Sarvajavena
sarvajavena
Tana Shashakadatum
tanna
Shashakadatum
shashakadatum
Satata Eva Nivavrate
tatat eva
Eva
nivavrite
Nivavrite
Naita Dashakam Vignatum
naitadashakam
Dashakam
jnatum
Vijnatum
Etedad Yaksamiti.
yatedadyakshamithi.
Yatedadyakshamithi.
So what did the Yaksha do? You can imagine, Nidadhau, he placed, Trinam. Now he can place the same blade of grass or another blade of grass, it doesn't matter which. So he has placed one blade of grass, Tasmai, before that Vayu, and Iti Yaksha said, Adatsva, lift this blade of grass. Adatsva etat, lift this blade of grass. And as before, as in the case of Agni, Vayu Upapreyaya quickly approached the blade of grass, and Tat Sarvajavena, with all his strength, he tried to lift it up. Na Shashaka, he could not lift it up at all. Na Shashaka, he could not lift it up. Na Shashaka Adatum, he could not lift up that blade of grass. And Tat, that blade of grass. So Saha, what happened? Saha, that Vayu, Nivavrate, he withdrew Tata Eva from there. And he went back to the Devas and he said, Iti Nashakam, I could not lift that blade of grass. And Iti Vignatum Nashakam Tad Etat Yakshaha. Who is this Yaksha? I have not been able to know. So two messengers have failed. Vayu has failed and Agni has failed in their mission to find out who is the Yaksha. Now we will read the next mantra, mantra number 11. Athendram abruvan
Athendram
Abruvan
Magavanne tadvijanihi
maghavanne
Maghavan
tadvijanihi
Ani
Kim etad yakshamiti
kim
Yakamiti
Tatheti
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 tad abhyadravat
तदभ्यद्रवत्
तदभ्यद्रवत्
tasmat tirodadhe.
तस्मात्
तस्मात्
तिरोधे
तिरोदधे.
So atha, after Vayu came back and said that I have failed, Abruvan, the Devatas, Indram iti Abruvan, said to Indra, the lord of the Devatas, Hey Maghavan, Maghavan means strong one, Balavan. Hey Maghavan, Etad Vijanihi Kim Etad Yakshamiti. Please go and find out who is this Yakshaha. And Tatha, Tatheti means Tatha, Tatha iti. Let it be so. That is the reply of Indra. I will go and find out. Let it be so. Then Abhyadravat, Tat Abhyadravat, Indra approached the Yaksha. Tasmat. What happened when he approached? Then. Tasmat means therefore, but here you take it as Tasmat. What happened at that point of time? Tirodadehe. Tirodadehe means disappearance. So Yaksha disappeared from there. Tirodaha means to disappear. So as soon as Indra approached the Yaksha, unlike in the other two cases, the Yaksha didn't ask any questions. He simply disappeared. Okay. Then we look at the last mantra of this chapter. Satasminneva akashe
ततस्मिन्नेव आकाशे
तस्मिन्नेवाकाशे
striyam ajagam
श्रियम्
श्रियमाजगाम
आजगाम्
bahushobanamana
बहुशोभनमाना
umam haimavatim
उमां
उमां
हैमवतीं
हैमवतीम्
tamhovacha
तामोवाच
तामुवाच
kim etad yakshamiti.
किमेतद्यक्षमिति
किमेतद्यक्षमिति.
Okay, so this requires a bit of explanation. When the Yaksha disappeared, unlike the other two, Indra didn't go back. He didn't go back and say that I could not find out who the Yaksha was. He understood there was some problem, and therefore he sat there and he prayed. That indicates that humility was there. He has understood that egoism, the egoistic approach of the gods is causing a problem, so he prayed. And when he did that, then he says, Saha, that Indra, Tasmin eva akashe. So the first word is to be broken up carefully. Tasmin eva akashe. In that same place, what happened? Ajagam. He saw a woman. Striya. He saw a woman. And Ajagam, he approached. And that that woman was Bahu Shobhamanam. Exceedingly beautiful. Okay, there's a double meaning here. Atmajnanam is also exceedingly attractive. So you can take it as that also. So that's Triyam he saw, that woman he saw. And Ajagam, he approached that beautiful woman who was Uma, none other than Uma. Who is Uma? Haimavatim, the daughter of Himavan, the mountain, Himavan Putri. So Hema also means gold. So Haimavati can have another meaning of the person dressed in golden ornaments. But here we are talking about Uma, Parvati. And what did he do? Tam uvacha iti. He asked her in this manner, Kim etat yaksham? Who was this yaksha who had come earlier and disappeared? So Indra is making progress because Indra is more sattvic than the other two. And therefore, as I said, he understood that the cause of the failure of the other two was pride, arrogance. And therefore, he sat there and prayed. He developed some humility and bhakti. And appreciating this attitude of Indra, this very beautiful lady came in that same place, appeared in that same place. Now, Vedantically, if you look at it from the teachings of the first two chapters, who does Yaksha represent and who does the Umadevi represent? Anybody?
Brahman and Maya. Brahman and Maya.
No. No. One answer is correct, but not both.
No.
You have to say
Saguna
which one
and
represents which.
Okay.
Guna Brahman.
Please tell which.
Brahman is Yaksha.
Okay.
And Uma Devi Saguna Brahman.
Atma Vidya.
Brahma Vidya, yes.
Okay, close enough. So Yaksha represents Brahman and Uma Devi represents Shastram. Therefore, the significance of this part of the story is that inquiry into Brahman has to be into inquiry into Shastram. So self-inquiry without Shastram can never succeed. But whoever makes Shastra inquiry, and that too in the proper manner through Acharya, he will succeed. So Uma Devi, Yaksha, Guru Shastram is there. The qualified student is who? Indra is there. And what was the teaching? The teaching is all available in chapter 1 and 2. So remember that if either Brahman or Shastram is not there, or in fact Brahman, Shastram and the qualified student is not there is no question of getting jnanam at all. So humility and bhakti is one, Shastram is another, and of course Shastram reveals Brahman. So that is chapter 3. Now we will look at chapter number 4, which is the last chapter of this particular Upanishad. In chapter 4, there are 4 topics are presented. So one is the Brahma Vidya Stuti, glorification of Brahma Vidya. One is Karma Yoga Sadhana. One is Upasana Yoga Sadhana. And one is values. The values necessary for getting Jnana Yogita, or for getting Jnanam at all. So look at the first verse of the 4th chapter, which we will chant. Sa brahmeti hovacha
Brahmeti Hovacha.
brahmano va etad vijaye
Brahmano va etad
Vijay.
vijaye.
mahidvam iti
Mahidvamiti.
Mahidvamiti.
tato haiva vidanchakara brahmeti.
Tato haiva vidanchakara brahmeti.
So this is Uma Devi teaching Indra. Saha uvacha iti. She said, she revealed Brahma. That was indeed Brahman. And Mahi Yadvam, you are glorified etat in this manner. Vijaye Brahmanaha Vai. That the glory of the victory which you got over the Asuras, you must remember that the whole thing is because there was a battle in which the Asuras were beaten by, were defeated by the gods, and they were celebrating the victory, and they attributed the victory solely to themselves. So she says that who you saw was Brahman, and the fact that you are victorious, that glory, Brahmanaha Vai, it belongs to Brahman alone. And therefore, Tataha Eva, from that teaching alone, Vidanchakaraha. So Vidanchakara means to know. A very complex word for knowledge. Vidanchakara. Indra knew what? From the teaching alone. Eva. Tataha Eva Vidanchakara. From that teaching alone. From only that teaching. So what we have to draw from there is that, look at the teaching. There is a teacher and there is a student who is qualified. So all three are essential. The Acharya is essential for Atmajnanam, is what is being conveyed over here. You can never get Atmajnanam through self-study. So Iti Brahma, that Yaksha he Indra, was none other than Brahman. So Indra has now become a Shishya, a student. And therefore, again it is being pointed out that unless one becomes a Shishya, one becomes a student of a teacher, knowledge cannot take place. And we saw this in Bhagavad Gita also. Shishyaste aham shadimam. Teach me. Shadimam prapannam, teach me. Arjuna said to Krishna. So here Uma Devi becomes a guru, and this is therefore the dialogue between Uma Devi and Uma Devi and Indra, between Parvati and Indra. So it is a Uma Devi Indra Samvada or Parvati Indra Samvada. What is the essence of the Samvada? We have seen that in the first and the second chapter. So she points out here that the Yaksha was Brahman. You must remember here the big difference. The only difference is that Brahman, was it Saguna or Nirguna, the Yaksha?
Saguna.
Saguna.
Why do you say that Saguna?
Form. The Yaksha has
Because
a form.
there was a form. They could approach. There was a form. And therefore it was Saguna Brahman. That you remember, Maya Sahita Brahman. And Uma Devi points out that, hey Indra, you and the gods, you have no right to claim any of these glories. The credit of this victory belongs to Brahman alone. And if you convert that into Vedanta philosophy, then you have to take the gods as sense organs and Brahman as Chaitanya Tattvam, consciousness principle. And the sense organs are inert without the consciousness principle. Hence, the glory of the operation of all your sense organs, that belongs to the consciousness principle, to Atma alone, not to your sense organs. And therefore, whenever somebody thinks that you're a great person and congratulates you and falls at your feet and all those glorification it does, it is okay to receive that because that is the social order of things. But when you receive that, you must remember the words of Bhagavad Gita. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimat urjitam evava. Whatever glories are there, it belongs to Brahman alone. And therefore, receive the congratulations, receive the Pada Puja or whatever. But know that the real recipient is only Brahman, is only Ishvara. Okay, now we look at second verse. Tasmadva ete deva
Tasmadva deva
atitaram ivan yan devan
Titaram
Itiram
Devan.
yad agnir vayur indraste
Yad
Yad
Agni Vayu Indraste
enan nedishtam pasparshuhu
Enam
Enam
Nidishtam
nedishtam paspashuhu
te henan prathamo vidanchakara brahmeti.
Enam pratamo vidanchakara brahmeti.
So all difficult words which we have not seen before. But anyway, it's worthwhile remembering. So te agnihi vayuhu indraha. That's there. All these three. Te agnihi vayuhu indraha. These three devatas. What happened to them? Nedishtham pasparshuhu. They closely came in contact with Enath, this Yakshaha, and te prathamaha vidanchakaraha. Te pratamaha vidanchakaraha. They first came to know this Yaksha, Enath iti Brahman, to be Brahman. Okay. Now in this mantra, it is said that these three people came to know that Brahman that this Yaksha was Brahman. They are the first among the gods come to know. But you have to go back to the story and you have to then unravel what Upanishad does not directly say. What happened? Indra got the knowledge directly from Parvati Devi and came back to the gods. So first is actually Indra who got the knowledge and then he taught Agni and Vayu. So this has to be added. Therefore, Indra first became a Jnani and then Agni and Vayu also became a Jnani. Why? Because all three met the Yaksha. There is only one glory. They became Jnanis. And second glory is that these three became Jnanis before the other gods. And how do you know? Because you know from other Upanishads that Yamraj, for example, was also a jnani. So the primary jnani was Indra, who taught Agni and Vayu. So these three are the superior gods because of the Atma Jnanam, the Brahma Vidya. And what is the reading from here? That a human who acquires Brahma Vidya is superior to other humans. The Jiva, Brahman is the same everywhere. But if you are going to compare at the Vyavaharika level, the Jiva with Atma Jnanam is superior to the Jiva without Atma Jnanam, is what is being said. Okay, let us stop here. Any questions? All right, no questions. So we will go to the third mantra. Tasmat va
Tasmat va
Indro atitaram ivan yan devan
Indro atitaram ivam yandeva
Sahena nedishtam pasparsha sahenat pradhamo
Nannedishtam pasparsha
Vidanchakara brahmeti.
Vidanchakara brahmeti.
So tasmad vai, because of that. Because of what? Tasmad therefore represents to the contact with the yaksha. Because tasmad vai means because of that association, that interaction with the yaksha, Indraha atitaram eva. Indra became superior to Anyan Devas, to the other Devas. Why? Saha nedishtam pasparshaha. Saha enat nedishtam pasparshaha. He came very closely in contact with the Yaksha. He talked, he saw the Yaksha, and the Yaksha vanished before him. And then Uma Devi came and he spoke to her and he got the knowledge. So Saha, he Prathama Vidanchakara. He is the one who first came to know Enat, this Yaksha, iti Brahma. So Indira is superior to other two because all three went to the Yakshas, but Indira got the knowledge first and Agni and Vayu got the knowledge later. And therefore Indira alone contacted the Yaksha in the manner that he got the knowledge of who the Yaksha was. All three came in contact with the Yaksha, but Prathama Vidanchakaraha, he came to know that Yaksha was Brahman first. And therefore, Tasmadva Indraha Atitaram Eva. Indra was the most superior among all the gods. He is just pointing out that Indra is superior even to Vayu and Agni because they got the knowledge later. Now we look at mantra number 4. So you will notice there is a numeral 3 after 2 words. That numeral 3 is just to show that there is an extension of that particular word. Like Dirgha is extension of 2 matras. This is extension of 3 matras. So we'll chant in that manner. Tasyesha adesho
Tasyesha
yadetad vidyuto
Yadetad vidyuto
vidyutada
Vidyutada
ityanyam ishada
Ityanyamishada
ityadi daivatam.
Ityadaivatam.
So as I said, the 3, it's called Klutam. It's if you remember the chanting rules, the elongation of a vowel by 2 units is called Dirgha, and by 3 more than 2 units is called Kluta. So this is the Kluta. So Esha Adeshaha. The following are the instructions. And what are they? They are actually instructions given by way of examples. Upadesha is given by way of comparison. So Tasya, of that Brahman, Yad Etat. So Of that Brahman, some examples are given. Tad etat, this Brahman, a, the a here means is like or is comparable to Vidyutad Vidyutaha. Vidyutad Vidyutaha, a flash of lightning, iti. This is the first comparison. And ita, and this Brahman is comparable to Yami Mishad, the opening and closing of an eye, iti. This is the second comparison. Adi Daivatam, thus ends the Adi Daiva Upasana instructions. So these two are instructions for Upasana. With the third mantra, remember the Stuti, the glorification of Brahma Vidya is over. How? By glorifying Indra, who is the person who has got Brahma Vidya has also been glorified. And therefore, from this mantra, which is the usual pattern of the scriptures, the various sadhana is talked about. The first is Upasana sadhana. And Upasana is what? Saguna Brahma Dhyanam. Meditation on Brahman with form. And therefore, in this mantra and the fifth mantra and the sixth mantra, 4 different types of upasanas, meditations are talked about. 2 are Adhidaiva Upasana, one is Adhyatma Upasana, and the last one is Guna Vashishta Upasana. So we'll come to all that. So Adhidaiva Upasana, as the name implies, is meditation upon the Lord with the help of an external symbol. The symbol is called Alambanam. Anything upon which you invoke the Lord for the purpose of meditation is called Alambanam. Alambanam literally means support. For example, a coat hanger, that is an Alambanam on which the coat is supported. So when you do Upasana on, let's say, Lord Shiva, what do? You invoke Lord Shiva upon the Shiva Lingam, and therefore the Lingam is the Alambanam. And therefore here what are we doing? There is Adhidaiva Upasana, meditation upon the Lord with the help of an external symbol. When you talk about Adhyatma Upasana, it is the same meditation upon the Lord, but the Alambanam becomes Adhyatmam, you yourself, your own body. And therefore meditating upon the Lord using your own body as the Alambanam, as a symbol, that is called Adhyatma Upasanam. And Guna Vishishta Upasanam is to take any one particular quality of the Lord, glory of the Lord, and to meditate upon that. So these are 4 upasanas. 2 are Adhyatmam, 2 are Adidaivam, one is Adhyatmam, and one is Guna Vishishta. In all these 4 upasanas, one has to remember this story to understand what the upasana is. What is the story? Yaksha the Brahman appeared very briefly. And the uniqueness of Brahman is that it was brilliant, very attractive, and there for a very short time. So the uniqueness of this particular story, that Yaksha Brahman was brilliant, was attractive, and was present for a very short time. So in the 4th mantra, in this mantra, 2 upasanas are prescribed. One is Upasana upon lightning. So lightning is symbolized as Easwara, brilliant, attractive, but coming and going instantly. So lightning is used as a symbol to represent the Lord, and here it is called Adhidaiva Upasana. It is Adhidaiva, and lightning is a external natural force, and therefore Adhidaiva. So you look at the word Vyaduttada Vidyutaha. Vyaduttada is a flash. Vidyutaha is lightning. So the flash of lightning, which is what? Swayam Prakashatvam. It is self-revealing, Chanikam, momentary, and Manoharatvam. Manoharam means attractive. And that is why Krishna is called what? Manohar. Manaha harati iti manoharam. That which captures the mind, that which robs the mind, that is Manoharam. That's why Krishna is called Manohar, because he attracts the mind. And the Lord attracts the mind over here. Therefore, there are three aspects over here. Swayam Prakasham, self-revealing, brilliant, that is. Manoharam, attractive. And Shanikam, momentary. Now, somebody might ask, what is the significance of that extension of that vowel? Yadutada. Why do you say that? So, Shankara writes in his commentary that this extension, the klutam, it is to indicate that there is a comparison occurring. What? Between the lightning here and yaksha. Similarly, in the other word, iti anyami mishada. So there's a comparison between the opening and closing of the eyes and yaksha. So opening and the closing of the eyes, nimishaha. On this you need to meditate. Why? When you open and close the eyes, the result is the same as if there was a flash of lightning. How do you say that? Assume that there is a dark night with no moon and you are sitting outside on your terrace and there is a flash of lightning. So that in that darkness which is in front of you, the whole area is lit up by that flash of lightning and again becomes dark when that lightning goes away. So darkness before, light during the time that the lightning flash appears, and darkness afterwards. How is it compared to the opening and closing of the eye? When the eye opens, the world is before you. When the eye closes, the world disappears. So the same idea is being conveyed, and meditate upon the opening and closing of the eye and imagine that it is the lightning flash revealing Brahman. There's only one difference, of course, that the lightning flash comes from external sources, and the eye of the light, or the light of the eye, it comes from internally, from inside you, from the eye itself. So the alambanam here is the opening and closing of the eyes. So that's why he says, iti niyamimi shada. Niyamimi shada means opening and closing of the eyes. That is the alambanam. So in the first meditation, the world is seen in the light of the lightning. In the second meditation, the world is seen from the light of the eye. In both cases, we are looking at the external world only. Both together, both individually and together, they are Adi Daiva Upasana. This is one Upasana which is, we have not seen too many of Upanishads which have detailed Upasana guidelines. This is one of them. This is the lightning Upasana and the winking Upasana. You can wink your eyes. That itself can be Upasana. Any questions? Okay. We will look at mantra number 5. Athadhyatmam
Tathyam
yadetad gacchativa
यदेतत् गच्छतीव
गच्छतीव
cha manonena
समनोनेन
tad upasmaratyabhikshanam.
तस्मरत्क्षणम्
It is tad upasmaratyabhikshanam sankalpaha.
तस्मरत् अभीक्षणं सङ्कल्पः.
So for ease of chanting, I am saying bhikshanam, but you can see a special symbol over there. What is the pronunciation of that? Gum. Bhikshana gum. So that's the Vedic chanting of that dot is gum. Okay. So he says atha. Now follows what? Adhyatmam. The Adhyatma Upasana now follows. And what is that? Manaha gacchati eva. The mind indeed reveals Yad etad. This Brahman, the mind reveals, and upasmarati. One remembers etat, this Brahman. How? Anena, through the mind. And sankalpaha, and visualizes that Brahman which has been revealed through the mind. Avikshanam, again and again and again. You visualize that particular Brahman which has been revealed through the mind. So, the Adidaivam instructions, which were two upasanas, they took the external world into account, right? And now here we are coming to Adhyatmam. Adhyatmam means our own body, or we ourselves. So, which is the aspect of the jiva which is being compared over here? It is the vritti, the thought. And why do we say? Because every thought reveals an object. As the thought arises, the object is revealed. And each thought is also brief. So again, it is a comparison for the yaksha only. Illumination, self-revealing. The object is revealed because thought arises. Each thought is brief. It comes and goes like the yaksha again. So what does the thought do? Every thought has got Brahman in it. Why do we say that? Because the vritti has got the RC. RC is nothing but OC reflected in the vritti. And therefore, every thought is inherently got Brahman in it. And therefore what? Every thought reveals not only the object, it also reveals the fact that Brahman is there in the thought. Brahman is there in the form of the consciousness of the Chaitanyam in that thought. And we saw this in great detail when we talked about idam vritti and vishaya vritti, aham vritti and idam vritti. The idam vritti is the vishaya vritti, is the object. Aham vritti is the RC, the consciousness principle. Therefore, whenever you think about any object, whenever you see anything, when you are seeing a glass, it is not the glass only that you are seeing. It is a thought which is revealing to you the glass, but that thought itself contains reflected consciousness. And if you think about it, that reflected consciousness is nothing but Brahman. So every thought serves as a reflecting mirror, reflecting consciousness and forming Pratibimba Chaitanyam, Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. Therefore, the thought also reveals Brahman because the reflection is formed. And therefore, every thought which you have helps you in the recognition of Brahman. It's a very subtle idea. The pen, for example, supposing I have a pen in my hand. The pen is known because the light is shining upon it. Okay. But the very fact that the pen is known also indicates that the light should be known, which I don't often see. I only say pen is there. I never say light is there. Correctly speaking, you should say that I am aware that there is a pen because the light is there. That light is revealing the pen, and therefore there are two objects. The light is there, two entities are there. The pen is there and the light is there. Therefore, pen is illumined by the light and light is manifested by the pen. Two different things, statements. The pen is revealed by the light and the pen is revealed because the light is reflected by the pen. In the place of light, if you substitute consciousness, and in the place of thought, you substitute, in the place of the pen, you substitute thought, then what happens? Every thought is illumined by consciousness, and every thought reflects the consciousness, and therefore thought reveals consciousness. What about a person in coma? Consciousness is not revealed because the mind is not functional, the thought is absent. But the common way of talking about it to say the person has no consciousness, that is not true. The person is conscious, but the consciousness is not being reflected. Just like even a table has got consciousness, But because the appropriate reflecting medium, the Sukshma Shariram, is not there, the consciousness is not manifest. So that's what he says here. Yad tad gacchati manaha. Every thought comes into contact with Brahman. A person visualizes Brahman with every thought, and therefore in each thought, Pratibodha Matam Viditam. From the second chapter, first chapter, second chapter. Remember that Brahman again and again. Meditate upon your own thoughts. What do you see? Brahman alone. The revealer of all thoughts is Brahman. You cannot miss. As long as you think, you cannot miss Brahman. Okay, with this we'll stop for today. We have 3-4 verses more, which we will, mantras more, which we'll complete in the next class. Any questions?
So, Acharya, in that Adi Deva Upasana, why that coming and going is emphasized? Is it that because something which is continuously present, like Brahman, all like light all the time present, cannot be appreciated, but if we appreciate darkness, then we appreciate light. Is it because of that?
You can look at it that way, because Yaksha came and went. Had Yaksha been present all throughout, what they are saying is consciousness is actually present all throughout.
Right.
But you are not able to appreciate because something which is present all throughout, you tend to ignore. Just like the light which is present all throughout, we don't talk about it. And we look at the hand and say, oh, my hand is there. But actually your hand is there. The light is revealing the hand. But you should also understand that the hand is reflecting the light. Therefore, it is being revealed. Therefore, Brahman is there. That is what is being said. That is the way to understand it. Every thought, if you have a thought, it's a conscious thought. Not only is the thought revealing something, that revelation of something itself is because consciousness is being reflected in that thought. The RC is there in that thought, and that is why you're able to see the object or reveal the object.
Right, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnameva Vashyate Om Shanti Shanti Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your
Om Namah Shivaya, Acharya.
Thank you, Acharya.